Hello, high schoolers. This is Skill Builder 5, and today we are going to briefly start out by talking about your assignment in the sight reading book for string orchestra. So this week, I would like you to work on numbers 10 and 11. Remember, today is day 1 when I'm posting this video. You have all the way until the next day 1 to watch the video and work on the assignment. And so by the next day 1, I expect that you at least have a start to these. I don't expect them to be perfect, but you should have at least gone through and looked through the pieces and gone through stars in your head looking for the key signature, the time signature, different symbols that you might need to know and respond to with your playing. And so make sure if you have any questions on that, you let me know. But 10 and 11 for this week, we will go over them in class next time. But let's jump right into our vibrato exercises. Let me just put this over here. And I'm really excited about these vibrato exercises this week because by the end, we actually are doing a motion that it basically is vibrato without the playing. So we're doing the vibrato motion with our hands. I know I've given you several vibrato worksheets. This is the third one, and it starts with number 8 on the top. So grab your instrument so you can do these with me. Number 8 is called tween taps. And it's not talking about like when we call you a tween when you're a preteen, like 12 years old. It's short for between. So you can see in the directions, it says that a tween tap is the same as a top tap. That's what we did last week or 2 weeks ago. The top tap was where you brought your thumb all the way up and you tapped on the body of the instrument. So now you're doing the same thing, but it says that you're going to tap in between two of your strings. Violins, it says between E and A. I would assume that it's your two highest, depending on your instrument, so your two highest strings. And it says to do each of the top tap rhythms 10 times. I don't have all of the top tap rhythms in front of me, but I remember some of them, so we can do a couple of them, and then we'll do the rest in class together. And it does say to use your second and third finger, so it's going to look like this. And I will get closer so you can see I am actually getting my fingers in between the strings. I'm not hitting the string, I'm hitting the space in between, where you would normally never put your fingers. So I remember one of the rhythms is 1 and 2, 1 and 2. Let's try that. So hitting in between. Having a nice flexible hand. Moving from my wrist. You can see my wrist is moving. I'm not just picking up the fingers, I'm moving my wrist. I think one of the rhythms was 1 E and a 2 E and a 1 E and a 2 and. All right, and really you can do any rhythm. It's just practicing that motion. They give you the different rhythms just to make it a little bit more interesting and fun. The next one, number 9, is called hand shine, and you actually don't need an instrument for this one, so let me put my instrument down. This is one of those exercises that really is replicating the vibrato motion. So it says, with the palm of your right hand facing you, place the tip of your left thumb in your right hand, in your right palm, like this, okay? Now it says to embrace your left thumb loose with your right fist, so basically wrap your hand around your left thumb. With a waving motion of your left hand and arm, use your middle fingers, 2 and 3, to gently polish the back of your right hand and wrist. So I'm moving up and down my hand and wrist. There are a couple of subpoints. It says to feel your left hand swinging from the bottom of the thumb way down near the wrist. So my thumb is moving, but also my wrist is moving, right? It's a full hand and wrist motion. And it says that you should have free movement with all joints, of your fingers, thumb, and wrist. So we've talked about not having tension when you do this. So after you have this motion down, you are gradually going to narrow the motion and then eventually just park it with a finger. So now I'm still doing that motion, but my finger is stuck in one place. And I think you can just pick which finger, 2 or 3. So now it's stuck in a place. So you go from doing it slow like this, or wide like this, and then you narrow it down, and eventually you just park it, and now you have this full motion. This actually more replicates a cello vibrato, because this is the orientation that your hand would be. For violins and violas, we would eventually be like this, but cello and bass also have their hand at this sort of orientation. So now, with number 10, we're going to do it in playing position. So regardless of the instrument, you're going to have your instrument in playing position. So it says they're going to move the hand shine to your instrument for number 10. So with your thumb in third position, polish the A string, just like in the steps of number 9, hand shine. So you're doing the same thing. So you're moving your hand. See, it's a full hand wrist. Everything is loose. My thumb is staying in one spot. We did something similar to this last time where the thumb moved with us, but my thumb is staying stationary, and then eventually I narrow it down and then park it with a string. And that is vibrato, okay? So you're moving, keeping the thumb in the same spot. Your thumb can't be out like this. Your thumb needs to be down. You're moving, 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 and you park it, and that's vibrato. Awesome. That's very exciting that we are finally able to get that motion down. Now at the bottom of this page, it has a rap. I am going to skip that. I don't think that anyone wants to hear me rap, but if you feel like doing that, you can. But let's flip to the back. Flip to the back to probably I think what we just did was vibrato too, but this one is also very, very close and basically vibrato by the end. Okay, so this is called a sticky tap. And I love the imagery that they use here. It's kind of goofy, but it's a good way to think about doing this exercise. So it says it's just like tween taps, which we just did, where you tap your fingers in between the strings. But it says the important difference is magic super glue. And this is where you have to use your imagination. I know high schoolers don't always like to do that, but that's okay. It's good for you. So it says to put a drop of, and they make sure to tell you it's pretend. No, don't put glue on your fingers. Of pretend magic super glue on your third finger. And then it says to start the tween taps using the rhythms and to follow the rhythm patterns 10 times each, just like we did. Okay? Now these are the correct top tap rhythms. That was my bad. I did the wrong ones last time. But it says here's the magic part. After you tap the first time, that super glue is going to kick in. And now it's going to be like you're pulling back, but your finger stays in place, right? So it's like you're doing these taps, but after the first time you tap, your finger stays in place because of that super glue, right? So we will do a couple of these. We won't do them all, but the first one is 1 and 2, rest. 1 and 2, rest. So we tap the first time, and then we have the super glue, but it's like we're pulling that hand, but we can't pull the finger off. So it's going to look like this. 1 and 2, rest. 1 and 2, rest. 1 and 2, rest. 1 and 2, rest. The next one, triple it 2, rest. Triple it 2, rest. Triple it 2, rest. Triple it 2, rest. The next one, 1 E and a 2, rest. 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 You can see that motion I'm doing. That is also vibrato. Okay, so 2 exercises this week where we really are doing vibrato. Now the difference in this one, why I said it's basically almost vibrato, is remember the tween taps, you're tapping in between the string, and so you don't, at this point, have your finger down on the string. It is a little bit harder once you start to have to push the string down too, but this is so close to vibrato that after we get this down, we definitely can move on to doing vibrato on the string. Okay, so we will go over these in class, but this is a great thing to do. I know many of you are like pumped and ready to go and ready to get vibrato down. Start doing these exercises. Start even when you are not in my class and don't have your instrument. You can do this, right? You can practice this motion and practice having that loose hand, loose joints in your fingers so that you can be flexible and loose to do these, right? So go ahead and look through these this week. Don't forget your sight reading assignment as well. And I'm so excited. I have seen many of you either getting vibrato or like you're this close to having it down. So excellent job, everyone. Have a great day. I will see you in class. All right, great job sticking through to the end of the video. I have here a jar of one of my favorite candies, peanut butter M&Ms. Before the next day 1, that means by 11:59 on day 6, email me your guess of how many M&Ms are in this jar. The closest person in the class will win a prize. It won't be these because my classroom is peanut free and there is no way there will be any of these left by day 1. But send me your guess and the closest person will win a prize. And by the way, in case you think I'm just eating junk food all week, I want to show you I do have a ton of fruit here too. So make sure that you are eating your fruits and vegetables. Have a great day and I will see you in class.